The Academy in general has always been very interested in diversity. And in fact, when I guess under the previous administrations, when there was pushback on diversity in recruiting on a national level, I think there was a case involving the University of Michigan. The Academy was one of those entities that said, no, diversity is important and it's important to us, and this is why. We want our officers' ranks to be reflective of the nation, and to the degree that we can have the same percentages of our officers graduating replicate what people, what those percentages are in the population, then we are achieving our goal. And so the Academy has always been interested in developing diversity, both from a cultural diversity and even a gender diversity once the Academy went co-ed in 1976. And they've done a pretty good job of it, but they always felt that there was something more that could be done. We were also able to highlight and promote diversity on campus in ways that hadn't been done before. We were able to rename one of our big theater rooms in Thayer Hall. Thayer Hall is one of the big academic buildings at West Point. I think it was South Auditorium was changed to Robinson Auditorium to commemorate General Robinson, who was the first black four-star general, graduated from West Point. And it was a big event at the Academy. That has been superseded in recent days, literally a couple of months back. The Academy named its first building after an African American, which had never happened before, which was kind of ironic because we have buildings named after Confederate generals at West Point. But we'd never had a building named after an African American graduate. So the first building name, which is called the Benjamin O. Davis Barracks, is named after Benjamin Davis, who graduated from the Academy in 1936. He came into the Academy in 1932 as the first African American to enter the Academy in the 20th century. The last graduate of the Academy had graduated actually before in the late 1800s. But he graduated in 1932, he came into the Academy in 1932, he graduated in 1936. He was 25th out of 350 cadets. But he had to experience something that only cadets who committed honor violations and then were let back into the Academy had experienced, and that was being silenced. For the 4 years that he was at West Point, he ate by himself, he slept by himself, no one would befriend him, and he was basically what was called silenced for the entire 4-year period only because of the color of his skin. It wasn't until after he graduated that and years after he graduated, that his classmates finally came around and started to recognize, what a great guy this guy was to put up with all this. And it was sanctioned by the school. I mean, it was not a very positive environment and moment in history for the Academy. Benjamin Davis went on to become the leader of the Tuskegee Airmen, the famous Red Tails. He was one of the first officers in the Air Force. Was the first black general commissioned or elevated to generalship in the Air Force, and retired as a 3-star general in 88, but was promoted to a 4-star in 1998 by then President Bill Clinton, because it was understood that the discrimination that he put up with over the years probably held back the final 4-star that he should have rightfully had. So he is now commemorated by a building in his honor. He passed away in 2002, but it's a great honor. It's something that we are all thrilled with, and we think that we know that part of the effort in getting the building named was generated by the efforts and accomplishments that were a direct byproduct of the Diversity Conference.